Interaction Design in Interactive Art by Leila Novo. Interaction design is a design of interactive products which a developer or designer focuses and goes beyond the item of development to include the ways the users will interact with it. Implementing this into interactive art is now up and coming, which we see more and more in everyday life. It involves creating a piece of digital art that viewers participate in some way by providing an input in order to determine the outcome. Both user and machine work together to produce a unique piece that everyone can observe. Within this topic, I will be giving a clear overview of my chosen research paper that I have found, analysing the successful attributes within this piece, including any critiques that I have found. I will be explaining my interactive design choice that I have made in my interactive artifact in semester 1, and relating them back to the research paper, Designing for Creative Engagement, and as to why this is relevant to my work, highlighting the main points that were shown throughout my work and what I could do in the future to improve. Designing for Creative Engagement. This paper addresses the problem of understanding creative engagement with interactive systems. A model of engagement is proposed which represents the modalities and phases of interactive experiences. Throughout this paper, they critically analyse human perceptions and psychological states during the experience, putting together the aesthetics and usabilities together to explain human perceptions on interaction, claiming what is beautiful is usable. The paper uses the engagement model, which suggests an existence of sequential and temporal definitions of experience. This is the model itself and provides fresh contribution to the existing literature surrounding creative engagements. However, the paper refers to previous work of Ernest Edmonds to reinforce their findings, especially Edmonds' concept of attractors and sustainers. Whilst this does help reinforce their findings, a reliance of their own previous work does act as a limitation to the paper. The most successful thing I found about this paper is that the results of the study of the 10 different art systems they were able to develop on their own model, which contributes to the understanding of audience engagement. Zafar spent 3 years on his study to understand creative engagement with interactive systems, showing a lot of time, research and dedication put into this. I believe this experiment was very thought through and has put other researchers and designers incorporating them into his experiment to make clear, decisive observations. Overall, the methodology is sound and has demonstrated clear understanding towards interactive design within interactive art, which primarily falls on the user, who the user is, and their expectations in regards to aesthetic appeal and usability. This paper is relevant to my work because in Project 1 I designed and coded a web-based interactive artifact for a company's branding. In order to do this, I had to think about the audience, develop my interactive experience to facilitate for my users. This included making sure that it was not only aesthetic but usable. Edmonds' concept of attractors and sustainers was relatable, as the purpose of my work was to ensure the user had an active role in influencing the changes within my artifact. Similarly to the iron scope interaction, I added a skybox to my art so that the user is able to move around the tattoo parlour and be in control of the movements. I also added sound, which could alternate at the same time of the direct response to the user's movements. However, a limitation to my work through analysing this paper was that once the interaction had been fulfilled and the user has done that is possible, they would become bored. Therefore, I realised that I had designed my piece around attractors and not sustainers. And my simple interaction did not come with any degree of puzzlement or unexpected turns. Analysing my work through the engagement model, I realised that although my interaction may start the user in the adaptation phase of uncertainty, due to the simplicity of my work, the user would reach to complete understanding of my interactive piece into a deeper understanding level and be able to quickly judge and evaluate at a higher conceptual level of my work as they now appear into the intended mode. If I had to do this again, in the future I would need to add more complex and interesting interactions so that my piece would be explored more widely into a bigger audience. A lot more research and time would have to go into this piece in order for it to become more usable and aesthetic. Overall, designing for creative engagement enabled me to understand the development of interactive design and interactive art and to think about the usability and effectiveness it would have on the user to be able to accomplish a greater outcome. Thank you for listening.